All right. My guests are here and seated, and we're going to be discussing two major issues this morning on the show. We already started discussing one of them on this morning earlier. The first among them is the issue of the drugs which are stuck at the port. So life-saving drugs are stuck at the port. Hospitals face medicine shortage as the Global Fund threatens to sever all ties with Ghana if we don't immediately clear these commodities from the ports. Sometime in April, there was a press conference where 6 civil society organizations told us about these drugs that are stuck at the port. The drugs are about $45 million. These drugs have been given to us for free to treat malaria, HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and other diseases. We know that we have been told that Ghanaian hospitals are currently running at a shortage of these drugs. So they are not available. And we're also told that for patients who have already started taking some of these drugs, but have had to stop because of the shortage, their bodies will build resistance to the drugs. Therefore, when the drugs are subsequently cleared and they start taking them again, they might not work the way they're supposed to. They might need an upgrade, which is currently not available. We're going to go into this further when we discuss. Also, we're going to be talking about the NIA. We know that the staff have commenced a strike. And they say they are on strike because they are asking for better conditions of service. If you have gone to any of their offices to renew, to get your Ghana card, you know that their offices are currently closed. My guests are here and seated. Awal Mohammed is here, National Communications Team Member or MPP Communications Team Member and PRO of the National Youth Employment. Is it agency or authority nowadays?
Yeah, it's even Youth Employment Agency.
Youth Employment Agency.
Yeah, the national was when Kufo started it.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for promising ahead of our discussion that today you'll be a very good behavior and not interrupt others when they are speaking. Do I have your word?
I don't really.
Do I have your word, Awal?
Yes, I
have your word. Thank you so much. Agreeing to be a perfect gentleman on the show today. I appreciate you. Also, Bernard Mona is here, former national chairman of the PNC and national presidential candidate aspirant. Uncle Bernard. Bernard Mona, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to be seen.
And then my sincere apologies for my inability to make it to Akushika.
Oh, the legend of Akushika, yes, you missed. It was phenomenal.
I actually promised and
you even invited me.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I did. In fact, on many other programs, I just kept talking about it.
Oh, I see.
And I met George Kui.
Okay.
I was in the flight with him from Tamale on Saturday, only to be struck by some unfortunate news that
I'm sorry.
It just took me totally off. But,
well, we'll have other showings, and I hope you're able to make it for those ones.
I will try.
Thank you.
But I think that is our duty to, in fact, probably I should have come there after I received the shock news.
Well, it probably would have made you feel a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're also joined in the studio this morning by Philemon La, NDC Communications Team Member. Philemon, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This is the first time we're meeting.
Well, with you and I, yes, it's the first time. But of course, we follow your show. Impressive work you do with Latif and all.
Thank you.
Now with Akushika, fantastic work.
Thank you so much.
But I think it's also important for me to comment on the fact that the Vice President is in the supposed World Bank of the MPP. And the showing is so pathetic, so poor. People have had to be bashed to Swami. People have had to hoot at the Vice President in Kumasi. And I ask myself, is this really the World Bank of the MPP? Are the people of Ghana, Kumasi people, thank you for showing the Vice President that we are tired of lies.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. Let's stick to the issues for today, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're talking about two things, the drugs that are stuck at the port and, of course, the NIA strike action. Awal.
Thank you so much.
What is happening? Why are we not able to, or why are we not clearing these drugs that have been given to us for free? For the actual cost of the drugs amount to about $45 million. They've been giving it to us for free. They are currently at the port. They've been there for over 12 months, and they have not been cleared. What's happening?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Good morning to our cherished viewers, and I must say that Dr. Baumia is in Kumasi. And Dr. Baumia has really shown that indeed Ashanti region is our world bank. They are dazed. As the reason he couldn't even mention his flag bearer's name started with Dr. Baumia. You were only saying good morning to him, but he had to say that there is a poor showing in Kumasi. Dr. Baumia is on his 3 days visit to Kumasi, and this is a campaign visit. Today is the last day. As I speak right now, they are preparing to go to Kwabere East to inspect some routes that are ongoing, and he will do house to house within the Kwabere East. From there, he will come and have a lunch with the business community in Kumasi. Then he will move and meet the Otumfo. You remember he met the House of Chiefs, but they mentioned that the president of the House of Chiefs, who is Otumfo, has promised that he will still want to meet Dr. Baumia one-on-one. And that meeting is coming on today at the Menchia Palace, and that's very instructive. And again, after that, he will really wrap up the campaign with meetings with traders in Kumasi. So we are very much satisfied with what is happening in Ashanti.
Are you satisfied with what's happening at the ports with our drugs that are stuck?
Yes, I'm coming to that. I think it's quite disheartening when you hear that really there are shortages of essential drugs, especially in our hospitals across the country. When I first heard the news, I was really trying to really read about it, and I heard that even tuberculosis,
yes,
which is really a curable disease, but it's a disease that if you live with someone in the house, you can even infect the person with TB. That's the reason when you even go to the hospital, those who go for the treatment of tuberculosis go early in the morning or late in the night because they don't want them to mingle with people. And the treatment is even free. So if really these patients are still there and they need these drugs and the drugs are at the port and are not being cleared, I think it's unfortunate. And I believe that some work is being done. Before I came on the show yesterday, when you sent the topic, I did some enquiries, and I'm told that indeed this is not really the only containers that came. Over the last 12 months, about 435 containers came. And the government is able to clear...
Of medicines?
Yes, of medicines, from Global Fund alone.
Okay. And
we're able to clear 267 of it. About 6 or 7 weeks ago, 14 containers were cleared. And they prioritize these tuberculosis and these antiretrovirals and these other essential drugs. About 6-7 weeks ago that they cleared it. After that clearance, then there was an interministerial committee that was formed, or intergovernmental committee that was formed with GRA, with Ghana Health Service, and the Ministry of Health and Finance Ministry, so that they will be able to expedite action and clear all the goods, and as and when it comes, they are able to clear it. Again, these are not the reason they have not been cleared are not taxes that are supposed to come to government, but these are third-party obligations that they are supposed to pay, because
that's why they have not been
yes
cleared.
Because they are the drugs are part of the exemptions that we have. You know, there is an exemption act that says that some categories of items, when they get into the country, you don't tax them. Government of Ghana don't tax them, but there are other obligations that we have to pay. The AU levy and the ECOWAS levy, these are levies that we're supposed to pay, and I'm told that it's about 40 million that has been paid. The others are the demurrage and some few other things that they're supposed to pay, which are third-party obligations that they are supposed to pay. I know
who is supposed to pay the demurrage.
Government of Ghana, because these are rent demurrages that they are supposed to pay for the drugs. So I believe,
know that the drugs have gathered demurrage of 7 million.
Yes.
By today.
Yes, that's what I heard, and I'm sure that a committee that has been put in place about 6 weeks ago to be able to really make sure that these medicines are cleared. They will make sure that they are able to do that. This government has done a lot in terms of health. This government over the last 7 years has invested heavily on health that is completely unmatched. The health infrastructure that we have constructed across the country, the ambulances that we have. When we took over in 2017, according to CTFM Online, it's only 55 ambulances that were functioning in this country. Today we have about 400 ambulances that are functioning. Today people don't die because of snake bites in the hinterlands, because we have the drone delivery system. And and some few other things. The hospitals that we have completed, those that are hospitals that were inherited, the new ones that we have built, and the Agenda 111 that we're doing. So 17 million shouldn't really be something that will make these drugs get stuck.
It's actually 7 million. But the point is, hospitals in Ghana have run short of medicines to treat tuberculosis, HIV, and some other illnesses, including malaria.
Yes.
The medicines to treat these illnesses are available. They are at the port in over 118 containers. They've been there for 12 months and they have not been cleared.
Yes.
So for a government which is serious about healthcare and delivering quality healthcare, this doesn't quite sit right.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that the number of containers that came were around 435 containers. And we have cleared 275. Just 6 weeks ago, we cleared 14.
Right.
Out of the ones that are there.
And it's Austin, the chairman of the Global Fund, says that this delay is intentional. The delay in clearing the containers is intentional.
That's his view. I am telling you that a committee has been set up, GRA, Ghana Health Service, and the Ministry of Finance, on how they can clear these goods.
What is your challenge? Why do they need to set up a committee on how they can clear these containers? What's the challenge?
I'm told there were some misunderstandings about. They were thinking that if there are exemptions to these drugs, everything will be cleared without necessarily, because of the Exemption Act, without necessarily going to pay some other third-party charges. And unfortunately, because I remember when the 14 containers were being handed over to Ghana Health Service, the GRA director came out clearly, the deputy director came out clearly to say that there must be a collaboration between the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Health and them, so that when the drugs come like this, they are able to work out what they are supposed to pay to the third parties so that it will be cleared easily.
So it is because of the misunderstanding that the drugs have been there for 12 months?
I didn't say that, but I'm saying that the drugs, this is not the only container that has come into this country. You said that, we understand that. It's only about 10% or 15% of the total that is still stuck there. And there is a committee that has been set up to deal with this. I'm sure in the coming weeks, because when I was given the topic, I did some enquiries, and I'm told that in the coming weeks something will happen. They will clear the rest of the goods. Well, they have threatened to cut all ties with Ghana and stop donating to us if we don't clear by the end of the month. You know that? Yes, I have read it, and I think it's unfortunate. I know that definitely something will happen by the end of the month. That I'm a bit. Philemon, have you followed the report?
Now I have followed the report.
What do you make of it?
First off, let me start with some initials. This government sanctioned the donation of 5.4 million Ghana cedis to the Rebecca Foundation. Matter of fact, you can check it. 5.4 million. This government also gave the Ochehene, the uncle or supposed cousin of the president, 1.5 million Ghana cedis donation, free. Take the money and spend. What did they use the money for? That was a donation by the GNPC to these two individuals. And I'm stating you can check. The Rebecca Foundation, the Rebecca Foundation, the pediatric units. The point is this: the GNPC can donate such amount of money to an individual's foundation just because she's the wife of the president. They did that. They donated to the Ochehene because he's an uncle of the president. What did he use the money for? The fact of the matter here, I think you should allow me to make a point. The fact of the matter, I think donate to you too. I'm sure you find something. Bernard Mona. Absolutely. Bernard Mona. I like the logic of Bernard. Because if you want to make a case that, the government can give money to an individual to do whatever the individual wants, then the government should do it. Something as important as medication. You see, the thing about TB is this. TB is communicable. Yes. You live with someone in your house and you have TB, you are going to transmit it to the person. And there are several people with TB across the length and breadth of this country. Does this government care about them? The thing about HIV is the fact that people that have HIV and do not take their medications consistently would develop a certain resistance strain. Is the government thinking about them? I remember when this government had announced a bloated list of ministers. The president's justification for this bloated list was that they are the number of people he needs to ensure that the government machinery runs. Today, over 1 year, medicines are in Ghana, free, take. Give to your people so we can reduce HIV, we can reduce tuberculosis, malaria. I haven't lived in a village before. I have lived in communities where there's no water. I've lived in communities where mosquitoes are everywhere. I have felt the burns, the pain of malaria. And I speak for the children of this country who are suffering under the heavy weight of malaria. Does the president think about them? So if you have such a large number of ministers who you claim you need to make sure the machinery of government runs, and now we are seeing nothing but incompetence, it speaks to the fact that the president has no vision. The president doesn't have what it takes to lead. Of course, there's the Exemptions Act. And the Exemptions Act gives the president the power to import without duties. The president, and the record is that the government of Ghana, through the office of the president, have so far imported vehicles worth over $70 million. $70 million worth of vehicles without exemption have been imported by the government of Ghana. But yet you allow the people of this country, the citizens of this country who need medicines, to be affected because of your indiscretion, because of your failure. We're just so tired of this government. Every metric of assessment of this government has been nothing but failure.
Every metric.
Every metric. Tell me one metric of success of this government. One metric of success. The economy, how are you feeling it? How much is your salary in dollars today? How much was your salary in dollars in 2016? I'm personalizing it so you can have an appreciation of the failed economy of this country. Something as simple as this. Medicines have been imported into your country. Go and clear them for your citizens to enjoy, for your citizens to be healthy. You have failed. Something as basic as this. How much more a weightier matter like the economy? So the fact of the matter is that leadership is cause. Every other thing is effect. And under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa and Bawumia, as chairman of the economic management team, for over 1 year, medicines have been given to this government, this country, as free. You have sat down and allowed these drugs to rot at the port. The danger is that whenever you take any bottle or package of medicine, they write on it, store in a cool, dry place. Store in a cool, dry place. What is the quality of the medicines that have been left at the port 1 year down?
Well,
are they still
the report
efficacious?
Actually says that they're gathering moss, they have been exposed to the rains and the sun, and they're actually outside. So that's what the report says.
So the point is that what's the quality of these drugs now? Wow. Tell Alhaji Bawumia, tell the president, tell the minister of health that we are just simply tired of their incompetence. And that's something as basic as this, something that a JSS senior prefect, any senior prefect in any JSS in this country who is given the responsibility of clearing goods at the port should be able to do that effectively. But yet under the leadership of Nana Addo and Bawumia, something as basic and important as this is failed. There's also the other aspect of the medications, the issue of expiry.
Yeah. So
I'm just so scandalized. I'm scandalized.
On expiry, a huge chunk of these medicines will expire in the first quarter of 2025, according to the report. So by that time, if the medicines are not cleared, they'll no longer be fit for consumption.
Absolutely. I want to make the case that there were about 400 and something containers. I listened to the report by even your station yesterday, and the person from the Global Fund. The record shows that there were 182 containers, 182, and only 14 were cleared in April, just 2 months ago. Only 14. The record also shows that the finance ministry publicly announced to the people of this country that they have released 40 million Ghana cedis for the clearing of these containers. It's a matter of fact.
The finance committee.
The Ministry of Finance has released 40 million, announced that they released 40 million. And now we claim that they used only 7 million out of the 40 million to clear the April consignment. So for the 182 that are left, the record shows that the finance ministry says they have released the money. So if indeed the finance ministry has released the money, why are the goods still there? That means they are lying to the people of this country. That means you don't care about the people of this country. Let me say something I ordinarily wouldn't have said on air. But I think it's important because I stand with the mass of our people. I believe that the lives of the common man is more important than the life of a politician. I know people in this MPP government who have to fly almost weekly to South Africa for HIV medication. People in this government.
You personally know?
I know people in this government who fly to South Africa for HIV medication. What about the common man who cannot board trotro because the fuel prices are high? What about the common man who cannot go to the hospital because NHIS is flawed? What about the common man who cannot even go to a private hospital for better treatment because the public health system has been crashed to the ground? Think about this. The people of this country must think about this. And remember this on December 7th and vote out incompetence and vote out a government that has spat in the faces of the people of this country and tell the people of the MPP, we've had enough.
All right, Philemon, and you've spoken very passionately. Let me come to you, Bernard Mona.
Permit me to sympathize with the Malawian people on the sad news of the passing of their Vice President Chilima, and 9 others that were on board a plane. We are told that it's bad weather and that the military plane got lost. Anytime they start with that news, they cannot find a plane. It's missing. It's obvious by all the literature that the next news will be that we found it, but there are no survivors. It's a terrible way to die. They are not able to find the bodies as we speak. And so I just sympathize with the people of Malawi. Second, let me say good morning to my colleagues on the show and to remind them that it's not necessary to be bantering each other when you are sitting with the next president of the Republic. But importantly, I want to look at this issue. Did I hear Ernest Austin say that he is the country director?
He's a chairman
For
Global Fund.
And Global
Community.
Fund is a creation of Bill Gates and the wife. Right?
Yeah.
Good. And he is threatening that they will cease to operate in Ghana.
They will cut all ties with Ghana if the medical supplies are not cleared.
So he's the chairman for Ghana.
Well, he's the chairman, he's the interim chairman of the Global Fund community.
Okay. So his income too will be reduced if they decide on that basis to cut ties with Ghana. That's one. Number two, I have problems with aid in general because they come in a form to assist you, but in the end, they disrupt, dislocate, and dislodge you. Aid. Anytime they begin to give you aid, they have a long-term motive, and they can plan 20 to 50 years or more. And you will think that they want to support you, so you are eager. And I can start from the planting for food and jobs. They come to say they want to support you. We are bringing you a type of seed. Maize seed, these are the varieties that are available. Do it, it's high yielding. We want to see productivity in your country go up. Soya, cowpea, and these seeds are GMOs. When you plant them today, the next season, you cannot harvest and go and replant. So every year you have to buy seed. But don't forget that they are supporting you for now. So you get these seeds. At the time that the program is over, you will no more get the seed supplied to you at the subsidized or free prices. The planting for food and its funding has also stopped. That will mean that you now have to go and buy the seed costs that are not of your countries will now determine the quantum of seed and in fact the size of farms you can have. Because if the seed prices are said that you cannot buy sufficient, you have to start reducing your farm size. It will affect food. And so I see all these things as an attempt, because my grandfather told me, and this is the example, that first when they brought cigarette, our people preferred their cigarette, what we call tobacco.
Cigars.
Tobacco, you know tobacco. Mm-hmm. They put it in tola. I don't know how you people call tola.
Pipe.
The pipe. And then they will be piping it. Our people enjoyed it. Then when they brought cigarette, they realized our people didn't see cigarette because they didn't have the qualities that they wanted. So they were not taking. So what did they do? They were giving out the cigarette for free. In some instances, you see the white man is passing with a motor or a car and just threw the cigarette pack so that our people can pick and then started smoking. By that, we jettison the use of our tobacco and the pipe. Have you ever seen pipe of recent? Today, even as they have told us that cigarette smoking can kill, we are still smoking because we have lost touch with what we used to do. That is what it can do to you. It dislocates you. It takes away your very essence. And so the question I ask is, and I don't know this government policy because that's not what they said is the reason for which they are not clearing the goods. If you are developing a vaccine center, and on the basis of that, you don't want to be taking vaccines from other places. You don't want to be taking some medications that you could naturally produce in your country. And it is the reason why you are stopping or not allowing these things in. Then what are you doing in the immediacy to ensure that those who are suffering tuberculosis, HIV, and other ailments, but there's medication, you are not able to go and pick it and give to the people. So, because government is not forthcoming with why they have stalled the clearing of these things for the past 12, 13 months, it just tells you how reckless we can be. We are in this country. We can give tax, what do we call it?
Exemption.
Tax exemptions to people to go and import material to come and build hotels. Because they are our in-laws. Mm-hmm. And we cannot give tax exemptions for drugs that are needed by persons that are suffering conditions. And this one, you are sitting down there and telling us that institutions. Which of the institutions is not under President Akufo-Addo? Give me one institution. And the president is not responsible for the appointment in all these institutions that we are talking about. And president cannot call them and say, hey, stop what you are doing, your useless things, and go and ensure that these things are cleared. And you think that if the president calls the RA boss, call Minister for Finance, call Minister for Health, and say that I have given you 2 hours. I want to hear news that you have cleared and that the things are being supplied. And you, Global Fund, when the things are cleared, government will have to be interested in how it's distributed. Because you just don't go and clear and come and hand over to Global Fund to choose how to do it. Drugs that are supposed to be meant for free, then before you realize they are found in drugstores, in pharmacies, and they are being sold. So the government will take interest in ensuring that once they are cleared, this consignment will go to this hospital or this region, consignment will go to this district, and then you ensure that it is equitably distributed. I say that because, you see, the government may have fear that when they clear this, Global Fund takes it and say that they are independent of government, so they will choose how to go and distribute it. If you are independent, then come and pay for your independence. But if the government will have to take stage, then we will support the cause. The final thing that I get terrified is, you know, these things about it's not for sale. You remember the free fertilizer? Mm-hmm. They wrote not for sale. You found it in the market. And it was being sold. And nobody was arrested. We knew. Government knew that you took the thing, you handed it over to regions, and that regions, can you imagine that about 7 articulators arrive in Upper West? And by next morning, you don't know where the articulators have passed and the content.
So your concern is that the medicines will be sold?
I don't have doubt. And so Ernest, Austin, and Co. must come out to tell us that when the medicine come and we take delivery, we hand over to government, but we also want to monitor how it is distributed, so that no one person will go and take it and go and feed their personal companies and come and tell us that they receive drugs, because most of these things will end up being in various drugstores. Then we, who will even go with our national health insurance cards, will get there. Then we'll be told that there are no medications in the hospitals. They'll give us prescriptions, and we will go and buy. What kind of life is this?
I'm going to read some messages and then I'll come back to you, Awal. Good morning. Now, please tell Awal to be factual today. He's young, he has a bright future, but he keeps blaming the NDC for the woes of Ghana. If he continues to do this, the future will be blear. And that's from Fo Kafui, texting us from Ho. Good morning, now. When you cite people who describe themselves as most highly competent and a solid team, and then they come around with a scam agenda of a policy called Ghana Beyond Aid, boastfully, standing in Parliament saying we'll not go to the IMF today, we'll not go to the IMF tomorrow and forever, and then they do a 360-degree turn after the night, all right, begging the IMF, all right, where do we think we're going? This is a shameful team that would get money to clear, but they don't have money to clear a gift. This is very sad, okay? Thank you for sending that in. Now you asked Awal a simple question. Let him answer it. Why have the containers not been cleared? What is the reason? All right. I read more of your messages as we go. You can keep them coming in. And on X with the hashtag TV3 New Day, you can also connect with us. I'll read your messages there as well. The simple reason you gave is that, if you could just repeat it, why the drugs have not been cleared.
Yeah, I said that the drugs came in larger volumes. And out of the 425 containers that came in, government has been able to clear over 270.
So the reason
and the last
cleared.
time government cleared, this was about 6 weeks ago
In
that
April.
we cleared, yes, 14 containers. But let me come to when he said the Minister of Finance lied to her. He didn't lie.
I want you to answer the question.
I'm coming.
Why the
just come
final
there. Yes.
118 have not been cleared?
That's why I'm telling you that 6 weeks ago, after that, a committee was set up to make sure that everything is cleared. That's very important. Yes.
Was a committee set up to clear the 14?
No, to clear the 100 and something containers that are left, and also subsequently come together to collaborate to clear all goods that come in as government goods. So
wait,
one, I'm coming.
Before you go on to your point, I want a committee set up to clear all goods that come to the port.
No. These are essential drugs.
A committee set up to clear all essential drugs that come to the port.
I'm coming. I'm saying that when these drugs came into this country, there were over 400
I got that.
containers.
Yes.
They started clearing them one after the other. And it got to April when they cleared 14 containers, and they were looking at drugs that will be expiry, that are very essential, and so they cleared the 14. After that, the GRA deputy director, who is in charge of this, said that they need some more collaboration with Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance so that they will be able to clear it, because there was some misunderstanding that exists, because they know that because there are exemptions, so the exemption tax, the Exemption Act covers it.
Did we have this misunderstanding or difficulty with the initial over 200, which you say were cleared?
No.
But this misunderstanding only came up for the remaining.
So I'm saying that this remaining, they are saying that this intergovernmental committee is supposed to clear the remaining ones, and subsequently, when drugs come into this country, they are able to clear them. So one, the Minister of Finance didn't really lie to us when he said they have really 40 million. I mentioned it here in my initial statement, if you heard me. I said the 40 million was to pay the AU and ECOWAS levy, which the exemption tax that which is not an exempt tax that we're supposed to pay. And so the 40 million was paid for that. For the AU and the ECOWAS
for the entire consignment, or for the consignment?
For the entire consignment. For these two levies, 40 million was paid. Again, he says Rebecca Foundation was given 5.2 million. Yeah. She's the most productive first lady Ghana ever had. She has built a lot of hospitals with that amount of money. You remember mother and baby care at Konfanoche?
Okay.
Yes. The one at Kolebu, you even was trying to draw his attention. Again, there is a 16-bed hospital at Gasout here that she has built. Hospital equipment and so on. So she used those monies to donate and build. She has built a hostel for children living with cancer here at Kolebu. It tells you how productive she is. Lordina Mahama had the chance. She was donating headpans to Kaya East. In this country, when she was first lady, she was donating headpans to Kaya East with the same amount of money that was donated by state agencies to her. She was building what do you call it? Billboards with herself and her husband in the Bono Ahafo region towards the 2016 elections. So Rebecca Foundation has done so well for this country. And she received the money, and you could see where she pushed the money to. Again, when you have an NDC person sit here to say that this government is insensitive, this government is not trying to really clear these goods and so on, I look at him with awe, because when they were in government, the entire central medical store was burnt down. The entire medical, because they stole some medicines within the medical store. An investigation was being conducted. They went and burnt it. And we lost. Yes, because that was the report.
They went and burnt it.
And burnt it. Yes, and burnt it, because.
Who burnt it? What's your evidence of this?
I'll mention their names. Because you see, this is contained in a press release, a press conference, a fully constituted press conference by the then Attorney General, Marisa Brio-Opon, who said that it is not a suspected arson, but it was an arson, and it was someone who was contracted to do that, and he was not arrested.
Mention the name.
I'll mention his name.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'll mention his name. And I'm telling you, and nobody was even arrested. We lost $247 million worth of medicine in Central America store. And you didn't even arrest one person, because you said the person bolted away. So you don't even talk about these things. We have invested heavily in the health infrastructure of this country. We are doing 111 hospitals across the country. We have fully completed, and we have over 10 hospitals that we have built from scratch that are functioning.
Over 10 hospitals?
Yes, in this country. Yes, built from scratch. If you go to Abri, there is one there at Com. That's the name of the community. If you go to Elibo, Presbyterian Hospital, we built it. Yes, yeah, built from scratch. We started in 2020 and completed in 2023. And now nurses are there working. When you go to Elibo, there is an hospital there that was completed. Yes, Elibo, government hospital. Was it Elibo or what? Olubo. Elubo.
We get it.
When you go to Wasadunkwao, there is a hospital that has been completed 2013. These are the same drawings, everything. Akontombra, there is another hospital that has been completed. We started in 2020. 2023, we have completed them. And we even met hospitals that were as far back as Champo. The Bekwai Hospital, we have completed it and nurses are there. So we have invested heavily on health, that these things should not be an albatross. That's why I told you that before I came here, I made some calls, and I'm told that it will not get to the deadline that the Global Fund are talking about, that by the end of this month they will pull out as well. Because they didn't pull out when they were even on our neck to pay the 27 million that was bent.
Yes, but the point,
because you see,
the point is that
there are 27 million worth
medical facilities you speak of are there. And yet they've run short of these medicines, which have been given to us for free. And we sit down and allow these medicines to sit at the port, which will start expiring at the start of 2025. Now, what's the point of these hospitals if we cannot supply them with the medicines?
I'm telling you that within weeks, these medicines will be cleared, because the clearance didn't start from yesterday.
It's difficult to believe what you're saying if the medicines have sat down for 12 months.
The medicine that sat down for 12 months was over 400 containers.
Yes, but you have not cleared all of them.
We have cleared. It's left over about 20%.
You seem to be comfortable.
I am not,
with the
because
fact that some of them, or a good number,
I'm not comfortable. If you are listening to me, I said that it's unfortunate. It shouldn't even happen. I even cited TB. I said tuberculosis is more dangerous when you live with a tuberculosis patient in the house. And if really these tuberculosis medicines are not in stock, then it spells disaster for people who live with them in their houses. Right. You understand? So I am concerned about it. And I believe as Ghanaians, we should be concerned about this. But the government is trying so hard within weeks to be able to clear this. It will not get to the deadline that Global Fund had talked about.
All right.
I just heard a while say that the finance ministry had indeed released 40 million.
40 million.
And that 40 million has been paid for the AU levies and all of that. That cannot be true. That cannot be true because, yes, when you look at the Exemptions Act, I think under section 14 there, but I'll just give the specific provision.
Okay.
It says that the government can exempt, but then we still have to pay AU, ECOWAS, and all those other levies. That means that is what is outstanding. Those levies. Yesterday, I listened to Ernest, the chairperson, and Ernest makes the point that out of that 40 million that the finance ministry claimed to have released, 7 million of that was used to clear the 14 containers that were cleared in April. That means the remaining 161 containers that are at the airport, they're supposed to be what? 40 minus 7. That's 33 million Ghana cedis left. So if indeed it is a case that you have paid, and that is the only outstanding liability, then the goods should have been cleared by now. So what Awal is saying cannot be true.
But she even mentioned to you that it is only 7 million that is left, and for us to even.
Awal, you just said that the government has spent 40 million.
Yes.
And the other 40 million
to
have been
pay
used.
for AU and.
Awal, you promised not to be a gentleman. Awal, you promised to be a gentleman. You promised to be a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman.
You see, the MPP, they don't live by their words. The NDC will live by our words. When we say we keep quiet, we keep quiet. When we talk, we talk. The fact of the matter is that the 40 million that they purport to have paid for the clearing of the demurrages, rent, AU, ECOWAS levies have not been paid. If it had been paid, that means the only outstanding liability left for the clearance of the goods would have been fulfilled. Not so. That's what it means. So why are 161 containers of essential drugs still in there? You see, Awal, I will not reduce this conversation into one that would have me attack the credibility of the second lady, who spends millions of Ghana cedis on makeup. Who spends millions, thousands of... I mean, that's the point. You see the allusion he made about Lordina, who has worked tirelessly to improve the lives of girls across the length of this country.
I think that Awal, please desist from commenting when other people are talking. You promise you'll not do that today.
Yes, okay.
That's how Baumia is like. He says something and he doesn't mean it. They say one and they don't mean it. They don't say things out of their hearts. They lie.
Let's stick to the issues.
The fact of the matter is that we will not reduce this conversation into one where people are spending thousands of pounds on makeup. We will not reduce that conversation.
Can you prove that she spends thousands of pounds on makeup?
Don't you see the bags the second lady uses? Don't you see the bags she uses? Chanel bags, Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci bags. You don't see them?
I don't understand.
You don't know the cost of those bags? Bags that cost in excess of 35,000 pounds and euros, dollars. You don't see that. The fact of the matter is that we...
Don't do that. Philemon.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is that Awal will not
let's stick to statements that we can prove.
He will not sway this conversation away from the fact that this government has sat down and inflicted on the citizens of this country the biggest forms of injustice ever. People are sick. They need medicines to live. The right to life is fundamental. It's a human right. And this government is sitting there and presiding over an abuse of the potential right to life of the citizens of this country. How fair is that? Does Nanado think about the poor man from Bunkurugu? Does he care about the poor woman from Elubu? Someone from Sugakope, does he care? He clearly doesn't. If he cared, by the president himself is lame duck. The vice president, lame duck. Otherwise, an order, a simple order, go and clear, release this amount of money, clear the goods, distribute the medicines, would have sufficed. But because they are so incompetent, because they are so reckless, because they just don't care, because they are just so arrogant, the abuse of power, they will not do it. If I were president today, if a JSS boy, SP of a JSS school was president today, he would have ordered this in 24 hours and the medicines will be released.
Bernardo.
Shall I give you the name
I just also noticed
you could not give it.
No, I'm giving it to you.
Let Bernardo finish his
we
statement.
also have lost Asoma Hina, the owner of La Bianca that became topical with the OSP and all the other investigations.
Yes.
My sympathies go to the family, and particularly to the Council of State, where she is still a member, and to her business associates. I sat here and I'm feeling very terrible. Very terrible now.
Why?
We take state money and donate to the president's wife. And the president's wife comes to construct a facility for us with our money. And you say we should praise her. Now, you have been trying to put smiles on the faces of many. You have been trying to take away people's stress. Look at the efforts you are making. The state should donate to you and see what you will not do, so we can count the number of things you have used that money for. Really? Is that how low we have come as a nation? State money is given to First Lady. She goes and construct a facility at a hospital. Then we come and clap and say she has used our money well. We don't have a Ministry for Health or Ministry of Health. If the money is given to the Ministry of Health, they will not do what they are supposed to do. Why are we so poor? So weak that this is how we want to go about things. Then my wife should be giving donation. Your wife should be giving donation. The state must donate and see whether they will not also go and do the kind of things that we are doing. This is too low for me. The second point, now, the central medical stores got burnt.
Yes.
And we are saying that some people went and burnt it because they stole.
Yes.
So Akosombo Dam was spilled. Was it as a result of your stealing? That is why you caused the devastation in such proportion. Look at the monumental consequences of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. And it is not that it was not planned. You planned and executed it. People lost everything. Do we come and sit here and say that why? You too, you stole and you didn't know how to cover. That is why you decided to go and spill Akosombo Dam, so that we can be concentrating on the spillage and its effect to the neglect of what you have stolen. You see, it is Global Fund that we are talking about.
Yes.
And we are talking about Global Fund that got the approval of government to go and bring in drugs. And they have been doing that over time. And for the first time in the works of Global Fund, these medications are at the port for nearly 1.5 years. It's not that the medications have not come. The medications have come. We have valued them to be in excess of 45 million. You agree that it should come. Why are you keeping them there? Because somebody somewhere is not getting their cut. Therefore, the thing should not be released, and all of us must suffer a consequence. That is what we are talking about. And we are saying that President Akufo-Addo and the Vice President must show leadership. Now, you see, when people start to agitate and complain, things that you have to do, you don't do it. When the agitation is coming and it comes to the tip, then you now tell us that you have formed a committee, you are now going to clear it. Look, nursing training allowances, it has to take a small lady to come and talk. Then the Vice President said, I'm going to get it done. You come and pay 3 months. Then you say that, oh, you have resolved the issue with 17 million. Please. Look, this country,
no, we have to move on to
this country is serious than the leaders that we have.
The country is more serious.
More serious than the leaders that we have.
I see.
In fact, these leaders are simply a disaster. They are leading us nowhere.
Philemon, what do you want to add?
I just want to say that it's important. Yes.
Tell me what it is. We are moving on to the next topic.
Just to discredit Awal like Baumi. Look at what Lodina Mahama has done. If the camera can capture it. Here, she built a hospital.
Where?
A mother in Chad, in Bole. Here is it.
2 years ago.
Reported by the media.
When she was not there.
In opposition. Even in opposition.
But
this
in
is what
she was
Lodina
donating
Mahama has
headpants.
done.
We all saw it. There are
What are you talking about?
All right.
Okay, well, I'm coming.
Well, I think I'll give you 30 seconds.
Yes. So
but
in the
my
first
10
place,
seconds
the number
But
of
you landed.
the number of projects I enumerated, 5 million from GMPC could not build these projects that I'm talking about. Okay. So she solicit funds from private individuals. And we saw
you're talking
this.
about who? Lodina or
Lodina.
Rebecca?
Oh, no, not Lodina, sorry. Rebecca.
You see, you
know about it.
Lodina. Lodina
When
has
she
done
was
her bit.
Lodina was giving head
to the empowerment of women, to health, to children,
when
mothers across the length and breadth of the country.
When
that has been the
started building
investment
hospitals,
of a woman
she
that
had
is
to
a
go
wedding
to
first lady, not one that invests in handbags.
We're going to move on
on
to
the
the
Central America store,
layers of
not one like that. We cannot be done because I
Give some credibility
told you that. I told you that. I will mention the names. I said I will mention the names of those who bent the place.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
Yes.
Take a breath.
Okay.
You want to mention the names of the people
Those
who bent the Central Medical Store.
And this is something. Oh, so that's what I'm saying. The person who bent the place, according to Marita Brew upon, is Samuel Dogwe. And I'm reading from Daily Graphic, 30th January 2016. At a press conference in Accra yesterday, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Mrs. Marita Brew upon said the arsonist was believed to have been paid to set the fire in order to destroy the evidence for an investigation that was being conducted by Yoko into suspected corruption at the Central Medical Store. Okay. She went ahead to tell us the number of people they have interdicted. They did not arrest them, they only interdicted them. The first person, she said 12 people. The first person is the Central Medical Store CEO, the head of the place, Mr. Peter Ekojima, and a member of the interim committee, which is Alaji Yunusa. 12 people she enumerated. So they bent the place, and we lost $268 million.
They are alleged to have bent the place.
Not alleged, because this is a conclusive. This is a conclusive statement by.
Oh, come on.
A conclusive statement by the Marita Brew.
Wait.
Marita Brew made a conclusive statement here at a press conference. That is the question we have to ask the NDC. That after
so
the committee said that one person bent the place because they stole some items worth about $5 million. So Yoko was doing investigation. Then they contacted Samuel Dogwe to bend the place, and he ran away, according to her. He was not pursued.
The fact is that these are suspects.
All right.